Since the economic crisis began in 2008, the federal government has enacted a series of measures to aid the U.S. economy. Press coverage of the various acts received little local coverage relative to the legislative programs that were related to private financial institutions. On February 17, 2009, President Obama signed the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, or ARRA. The act received less press than the more commonly known TARP, or Troubled Assets Relief Program, which came from the Emergency Economic Stabilization Act of 2008, which was enacted in October. Most people may not remember the stimulus bill before that, which is the Economic Stimulus Act of 2008, from 8 months prior. The Emergency Economic Stabilization Act of 2008 received especially wide press attention. The timing of its debate took place at the height of the presidential election. In fact, 2 days before the first presidential debate was scheduled to take place, presidential candidate Senator John McCain announced on September 24th that he would suspend his campaign the next day to devote his time to the country's economic recovery. Senator Obama declined McCain's proposal, and on the morning of the debate, McCain announced that he would participate in the debate later that evening. That version of the stimulus bill was defeated in the House of Representatives 3 days later on September 29th. While the Emergency Economic Stabilization Act of 2008 was known as a bailout of major U.S. financial institutions, the media directed much of its attention to the financial companies receiving federal assistance, such as those receiving the three of the largest investments: Bank of America's $45 billion, insurer AIG's $40 billion, and automaker General Motors' $30 billion. The act also contained $107 billion in tax breaks for businesses and consumers. Both the New York Times and the Washington Post created interactive websites to track the $700 billion in the bill. The city of San Jose received over $78 million in funding from the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act, not including funds allocated to county government agencies operating in the city, such as the Santa Clara Valley Transportation Authority. The San Jose Mercury News and local television stations covered one of the first announcements that the city would receive ARRA funding. The city announced on September 28, 2009, that it received its first $56 million in a press conference, of which $15 million would go towards repaving roads, and about $16 million would be directed towards investing in homeless services. Besides San Jose's city website, little media attention has been directed towards checking the local progress of its $78 million funding. The national media has been attuned to tracking down the progress of the stimulus money towards job creation and the private sector's repayment of the $700 billion stimulus. One such example is the media coverage of Bank of America's announcement on December 3, 2009, that it will repay its $45 billion investment from the government by raising $20 billion in new capital. While local media may not be tracking down how federal stimulus money is affecting local economies, they are keeping track of the California state budget crisis. The San Jose Mercury News, as well as other local media owned by the Bay Area News Group, has been attuned to the state budget crisis with its widening structural deficits. The San Jose Mercury News, for example, has made available special multimedia reports tracking the history of California's deficit and the latest updates on the discussion and voting of state legislators. Because of the overall recession and the challenges in the media industry, it seems that either A, the media do not have enough resources to direct attention to California's statewide and local economies, and or B, that local readers are not interested in tracking down how their cities are affected by these federal dollars. Despite the fact that one of the largest recipients of federal stimulus money was San Francisco-based Wells Fargo Bank, there appears to be more interest on the part of the media in demanding accountability